In this video, we want to explain how the Joint Support and Enabling Command, or shortly JSEC, is becoming an international NATO headquarters. My name is Sonja and I'm working for the Public Affairs Office of JSEC, and with me is Boris Wentzek. He's the legal advisor of JSEC and our expert for legal aspects of the JSEC founding process. So, Boris, could you tell us something about yourself and your tasks within this command?
Yes, of course, with pleasure. I'm Boris Wentzek. I'm the head of the legal office of JSEC. I studied law in Germany, passed the necessary exams, and now I'm a fully qualified lawyer. I've been working with the German Armed Forces as a legal advisor since 1993. I came to Ulm in August 2018, and right into the middle of standing up headquarters JSEC, which is very interesting at the moment.
So it seems you feel quite well here. It is not a daily business to found a high-level NATO headquarters like JSEC, right?
Oh, by Jove, you could be more on spot with that. Probably, if we would have known before, we wouldn't have started it. But then somebody higher up would have minded, definitely. Well, to be serious, from the legal perspective, we had to follow a certain process in order to become an international military headquarters. The process consists of 3 steps. The first step is the agreement between NATO and Germany that Germany is willing to allow a new military headquarters on its territory. The second step is looking for other interested NATO nations which are willing to participate in the headquarters and, an important point, to pay for operations and maintenance too. And the third step is what I like to call the official baptism. That is the formal recognition of the newly created headquarters as a NATO-assigned headquarters by the North Atlantic Council. As a result of this process, the Joint Support and Enabling Command operates as a NATO-assigned international military headquarters.
So the process consists of 3 steps. Could you explain the very first step a little bit more in detail?
Of course. The first step of the founding process is a legal step, which in the personal sector you might call obtaining the residence permit. After all necessary legal steps, headquarters JSEC will be a corporate body, a legal entity under public law. Plus, it will have some privileges and tax exemptions from German law. Therefore, the German government needs to approve the establishment of such an entity on German territory. The German Foreign Office and SHAPE, the Supreme Military Headquarters of NATO, administered this process. At the end of it, there's an exchange of letters, which is just another word for a diplomatic treaty. And at the same time, all federal ministries in Germany, especially the finance ministry, are informed about this new player in the game. And the finance ministry is, of course, of importance for headquarters JSEC because there the tax exemptions are administered.
And what happens in the second step?
The second step really is the most challenging and difficult, legally and politically. To some extent, headquarters JSEC will resemble a public limited company or a stock corporation. It will act under the direction of a CEO, the commanding general, but there are several shareholders in the background which supervise the daily business. However, in the case of JSEC, the shareholders are NATO nations, not private individuals. They agree on establishment of JSEC, on the purpose of headquarters JSEC, on the financing, on the manpower requirements, for instance, for headquarters JSEC, and of course on the dedication to NATO. Sad things for the shareholders is that they will never see any profits. Headquarters JSEC will not make money. The profit is for us all in the enhancement of the alliance defense. But back to the process. First, Germany had to find interested NATO nations. That happened relatively quickly and was already finished in 2018, more or less. At the moment, there are 19 nations participating in the founding process. These nations have to agree on the text of the founding agreement. As you can imagine, this is a long and tedious process, which started in autumn of 2018 and which has reached its finishing line now in September 2020. I'm very confident that we will see a signing of this agreement in October or November this year, and that achieved, Headquarters JSEC will be a legal entity.
What exactly happens in the final step of this founding process?
The third and last step of the founding process is establishing the link between Headquarters JSEC and the NATO. A very long time ago, more than 60 years ago, the NATO nations agreed in an international treaty on the status and the operations of NATO headquarters. To stay flexible, they authorized the highest political body in NATO, the North Atlantic Council, to recognize or to create newly made military headquarters or other NATO agencies. Therefore, the last step we are still waiting for is the recognition of Headquarters JSEC as an official, so to speak, official NATO headquarters, integrated into the NATO chain of command. We will apply for this recognition after the signature of the agreement, but don't fret, it's a done deal already.
Okay, so thank you for this explanation. Well, now it's September 2020. What is the current state of the founding process?
The current state is, well, we are on the last leg of the run with the founding agreement. On this very day, the German Ministry of Defense expects the last returns in writing, commenting on the draft of the agreement. To the best of my knowledge, there were no serious issues left when the second round of negotiations started. There's a high probability that it will be smooth sailing and that the agreement will be signed in October or November. And then, in November 2020, we will host, we, meaning Ulm and Headquarters JSEC, will host representatives of 19 NATO nations in Ulm for the first general meeting of the members, meaning the nations, which participate in the agreement. They will come to vote, for instance, on the manpower requirements, as I've said, or on the operating budget for Headquarters JSEC.
Boris, thank you for your time and your willingness to explain this whole founding process of the joint support and enabling command.